Hey, welcome to another Tenkara Angler video. Today we're going to do an unboxing, and we haven't done one of these in quite some time. I think the last one that we did was for the River Peak Kiwami 45, but I got an interesting box on my doorstep a couple of weeks ago that I've just been kind of sitting on and waiting, so I figured we'd do an unboxing video today. The reason why I waited to do this unboxing video is because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go Tenkara fishing in quite a few weeks. But now that we're closing in on Labor Day weekend, and I know I've got a trip to the Smokies ahead, I think it was time to finally open up what's in this box. It was the result of a Kickstarter, and I'll kind of tell you what's inside in a second. So let me break out my trusty pocket knife. I got made fun of in the comments last time for having a pink box cutter. So we have a suitable pocket knife this time, and we'll see what we have inside this box. So I'll open it up, and there's a couple things inside. First off is a free redemption form for a Trout Unlimited membership. There's also a couple stickers and paperwork and notes, but let me get to what you all probably want to see, and that is, let me get that out of there, this rod. So this rod is from the Seiyu Institute for Health and Training. It was a rod that was launched via Kickstarter a couple months ago by Tony Parmenter. He runs an organization that does on-stream therapy for its patients, specializing in ex-military, PTSD, things like that. And he decided to do a Kickstarter where he was going to make a rod for his clients and try to help kickstart a supply of those, but also in doing that, also offer them up to people that might be interested in, the rod itself. He had a couple extra add-ons, some fly tying from lessons from Lady Tenkara bum Amanda Hoffner and the main Tenkara guy, Daniel Pierce. But first and foremost, the main thing that everybody was kind of looking at, was the rod. So let's unwrap this and give it a look. It does come in a rod tube, as you can probably all see as I'm kind of opening this and getting rid of the plastic wrap. It's a really pretty, it's like a pearl white rod tube that has the Seiyu graphics on it, freedom in sincerity, freedom on the fly printed right on them. Kind of open up the screw cap on the end. Take a look at what we have inside. So what we have inside, it looks like, is a neoprene sock, and I'll put the rod tube down for a second. The rod sock says therapy on it, screen printed, and it is, as I said, like a neoprene sock. It doesn't have any zippers or Velcro or anything like that, just a slit at the end. We'll pull the rod out and take a look at that. The rod is, wow, it's really pretty. It's a really pretty rod. Much, honestly, nicer than I thought it would be. Comes off great. I hope it comes off as well on camera as it does in person. But that's a really nicely well done rod, at least visually. You can see that it's got two colors. It's got black accents on the blank with a graphite colored section in the middle. There's actually a really faint graphite, weave in there, it looks like. Let me put that up close to the camera. Hopefully you can see that relatively well, like the graphite weave and all that stuff, with really clean Seiyu 33 graphics. So it is a 33 or 330 centimeter rod, which makes it just under 11 feet. And we'll take a look at it now, tip to tail, and kind of see what's going on with this. I'm kind of discovering along with you. So we'll start at the tip. Looking at the tip cap, it's got one of those tip caps that has like a cat eye marble look in the end. And then we'll take it off. Looks like a pretty standard tip cap to me. It's not really rubberized, it's plastic, but it's got the slit plastic on it, so it does fit in there pretty firmly and compresses, accordingly. Let's take a look at what we got on the end here. Looks like the rest of the sections are black, like the accent section. But I'm not going to fully, extend the rod here because I'm indoors and I don't really have room in this room to wiggle around an 11-foot rod. We also pull out the Lillian or the tip section. Looks like there's a good length of Lillian on the end with a micro swivel as well. So I know a lot of people like micro swivels. This rod appears to have one, as well as I said, a good length of Lillian. I know sometimes you get some rods and they have really short Lillian. It's just a pain in the butt to put your fishing line or your Tenkara line, on and off all the time. But this one has a good section. Whether or not you want to knot the end or not, there's plenty of Lillian there. I'll kind of drop that back in. As I look down the rest of the rod, already touched on the graphics a bit, but they're very clean. They're really pretty. Actually, it reminds me a lot of the new Tenkara USA rod, the Satoki. In terms of kind of what it looks like. It just doesn't have the red accents, but it's got that kind of gray carbon fiber, weave up and down with really clean, Seiyu graphics. The one thing that I did notice that this rod has that I don't know that a lot of Tenkara rods have, at least installed natively, are line keepers. It's got two little loops of wire, kind of like a hook keep on a standard spinning rod, or some fly rods have it. So instead of needing those easy keeper clips or whatever they're called, this has those in there. That might be a positive or a negative for some of you, but I think it's pretty cool. I'm typically not one that uses easy keepers. I kind of wrap the line around my handle if I'm going to go from spot to spot, but with these already kind of natively installed, I may be tempted to kind of use that as a solution going from spot to spot. And I guess if you don't like them or they get in the way and catch on things, you could always bend them down, flush against the rod and kind of get them out of the way if you really so chose. Moving down and looking at the handle, there's a nice handle with a nice contour to it, an upper section and lower section. The cork looks pretty good. There's a standard amount of filler in there, but nothing that looks cheap nor that would cause any alarms to me. Does have some two firm foam sections at the top and the bottom that kind of like sandwich the cork in the middle. Pretty comfortable to grip. Pretty standard in my opinion. Feels good. Feels good in hand. We'll see how it fishes, but feels good in hand for the unboxing. And then we'll look at the end cap. It is gold, which matches the winding check up here. They're both gold metallic pieces. And it is flat on the end with a coin slot, I guess, to help you unscrew it. Does also have knurled edges. So we'll kind of take that off and see what we got going on inside here. That's on there pretty good. Looks like, I don't know if the factory did that or Tony did that, but it looks like maybe there's a piece of like plumbing tape or something around there to make sure that's a firm fit. And then there is a soft kind of foam or rubber, I guess that's rubber, piece on the tip of the cap. So when you collapse your rod, it doesn't slam down hard into that metal section. So that's a nice piece as well. Overall, just looking at cosmetics, I'm really impressed by this rod. Tony did a really good job, kind of sourcing this and putting it together. It looks really clean. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't fish well. He did put some measurements on his website. I haven't had a chance to measure it. I just took it out of the box. So I am going to put those up on the screen right now. So if you want to get your pause buttons handy, go ahead and get ready to hit them now. And as you saw from that, this is basically a just under an 11-foot rod. It's got a 6.4 action, which, should be pretty complementary and, all-purpose for a lot of different fishing situations, whether it's, small streams, bigger streams. I love 11-foot rods. They're my favorite length of Tenkara rods. So I think Tony chose a good one here. Let me put this down for a second. I'll also kind of touch on some other things that came in the box really quickly. I already mentioned the Trout Unlimited, membership card. I got a Lady Tenkara Bum sticker, so shout out to Amanda there. And I got some flies. I guess some are from Amanda, from Lady Tenkara Bum, and then the others are from in an envelope. If you can see inside there, they're from Dan Pierce at Maine Tenkara Guide. Those two helped Tony out with the Kickstarter originally. And I guess they helped with the fulfillment, giving some goodies away for the fulfillment at the conclusion of the Kickstarter. So that's basically all I really wanted to go through on this rod. I'm looking forward to fishing it, next weekend, Labor Day weekend, up in the Smokies. Hopefully I'll be able to catch a rainbow or maybe a brookie on it, and be able to give everybody some feedback on the rod, on my opinion of the rod, once I'm able to catch a fish and spend at least an afternoon with it. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about this rod in the meantime, or just in general, there's probably 3 places where you can do so. As I mentioned on Tenkara Angler, we wrote an article about the Kickstarter a couple months ago. So I'll put the link to that article in this video's description. You can also check out, I'm sure by the time this video is posted, we will have posted a reader review from Jerry Reitz, who is a frequent contributor to Tenkara Angler. He's an angler in Pennsylvania. He bought one of these, and just as I was going to do this video, I saw that he sent in a reader report on his thoughts on this rod. So you'll be able to read those. I'll put that link in this video description as well. Last but not least, you can check out the Seiyu Institute for Health and Training's website, where you can not only read more about this rod, you can actually buy one if you'd like to. Tony's got another manufacturing run of this rod in the works. You can also learn more about his therapy services, where he does give on-stream sessions to help people with, just all kinds of things that ail them. I know when I go fishing, it is a big release of stress and, just kind of getting my head right for my day-to-day, job. Tony does that services for people as well, through Tenkara and, fishing services. So, check that out. He's got a whole therapeutic, regimen set up to help people, with their mental issues, which is really important these days. So that's about it. Like I said, check out all those links in the video description. And if you like this video and enjoy what we're doing at Tenkara Angler, we'd really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, tell your friends, all that fun stuff to our YouTube channel. Or, just check out our website, tenkaraangler.com, to learn more about all the things that we're talking about in the world of Tenkara. Until the next time, tight lines, and hope to see you on the stream. Bye.